John C. Morley, the host of the JMOR Tech Talk Show and Inspirations for Your Life. Well, hey everyone, it is John C. Morley here. Welcome to, the JMOR Tech Talk Show. I'm so glad you decided to pop in and join me on this wonderful Friday afternoon. It is May 23rd, 2025, that we're doing the show here. If you're tuning in any other time, well, welcome. If you're coming for the first time, welcome. And if you're coming back, well, welcome back. It's always great to have you here. Do check out believemeachieve.com for more of my amazing, inspiring creations 24 hours a day. Anytime we're not on here live, you can go ahead and check that out. If you're thirsty or hungry, well, why not head over to the kitchen and get yourself something delicious, something hot, something cold, or perhaps just something yummy, sweet, or maybe something fruity. Doesn't matter. Feel free to do that and come on back to the show, guys, because we have a lot, and I mean a lot, to share with you guys. Again, welcome to the JMOR Tech Talk Show. This is the place where you get all kinds of very valuable technology nuggets that I don't think you're going to get anywhere else. So I am John C. Morley, serial entrepreneur. I'm an engineer, marketing specialist, technology expert, podcast host, and also a podcast coach. And I'm your trusted guide through the fast-changing, evolving world of innovation. Now, on the JMOR Tech Talk Show, we break down some of the biggest stories in tech with insight, clarity, and a bit of flair. Every week, I cover topics that seem to matter to everyone, from AI, artificial intelligence, breakthroughs, and even cybersecurity threats to tech giants rewriting the future. Tune in every week on Friday, and if you miss it, of course, you can go to believemeachieve.com. We're also on some different cable stations. You can catch us there. And, of course, you can catch us on our podcast while you're jogging, running, or maybe just in the car. And you can tune in for real talk, big tech, and future forward thinking, because knowledge is your power cord. Everyone ready? All right, I know I am. So this week's, we've got some amazing hot tech highlights. All right. And so first one is Fortnite. So we had a lot of tobacco with Fortnite in the past, in case you guys didn't know. There was a lot of things going on with Fortnite. And well, Fortnite, unfortunately, is blocked again. Yes, Apple and Epic Games are reigniting their battle, and Fortnite is caught in the crossfire again. The wildly popular game has been removed from iPhones across the United States and European Union after Epic allegedly violated Apple's platform policies. This fight isn't just about games, it's a deeper war over control, commissions, and the future of mobile app marketplace. And I think a lot of people are getting a little bit tired with this, to be honest with you. I mean, it all is coming down to money. We know that, right? It's coming down to money. And, basically, this started around May 16th, guys, 2025, due to the renewed conflict that surfaced. And while Apple claims it only requested Epic to remove the U.S. storefront from an app update to avoid disrupting other regions, Epic accuses Apple of retaliatory behavior and has asked a U.S. judge to hold the tech giant in contempt. This ongoing feud dates back originally to 2020 when we first covered the story, when Apple was first banned, actually, the Fortnite institution for bypassing the App Store payment rules. Although the game briefly returned after European Union regulatory pressures, recent developments have once again blocked its access through Apple's iOS platforms globally. Now, Apple is saying that this was just doing something for an update, but I don't really believe them. And I think it's important that a judge definitely steps in to see what the heck is going on, because it's all coming down to money, guys. It's coming down to money. And, Apple is greedy. I'm not going to lie about that. All right. So number two is Microsoft's European Union is playing in a strategic move to avoid billions in fines. So Microsoft is decoupling Teams from Office 365 in the European Union. This preemptive strike aims to soothe regulators and level the playing field for collaboration tools like Slack and Zoom. It could, well, it's possible that this could signal a global shift in how big tech bundles software. And I think, you know, people say, they're doing it for convenience, but we all know it's not convenience when you're in this industry. They're doing it because they want to be top of mind. They want to be in your face and they want you to choose their software over someone else. I mean, that's just the name of the game, guys. I mean, it's not about convenience. It's about having that real estate, having that space in front of you all the time. And number three is a really good one. The AI regulation clash. Seeing the debate over the AI regulation, and it's heating up. 40 state attorney generals are challenging a proposed federal ban that would prevent states from creating their own AI laws. Now, they're arguing that states must retain the power to protect citizens from AI driven threats like bias and automation induced job loss. But is there more to it than this, guys, or is this just solely about money? Well, so as I say, this AI ban, it faces pushback from the state attorney general's office and a Republican proposal to ban state level regulation of artificial intelligence for 10 years, tied to former President Donald Trump's original tax bill. And it sparked bipartisan opposition from 40 state attorneys, generally including the representatives from California, New York, Ohio, and others. Now, critics argue that such a, let's say, move would strip states of their ability to protect consumer rights from high-risk AI uses. Now, particularly as federal regulations remain stalled, California Attorney General Rob Bonta, citing recent state laws regulating AI-generated deepfakes and healthcare decisions, strongly opposed the federal override. Supporters of the ban, including the representative Jay Abernalty and Google, claim it's necessary to avoid the conflicting state laws and to preserve the national AI leadership. Now, the measure must pass Senate budget rules to proceed, so don't think that this is going to happen anytime tomorrow, because it's not. I mean, the thing about all these laws, right, is that they all kind of want what they want, but at the end of the day, what has to happen is something that's going to be best for everyone, for all concerned. I think that's a very, very, important point. But I get why sometimes this could be, how can I say, a little bit challenging. I mean, really, it could be a big problem for some people. And I think if you understand that, then maybe you can understand, where they're coming from. I mean, hopefully you can. And number four, guys. So Alibaba's iPhone deal worries, yes, are surfacing. Rumors of a possible AI partnership between Apple and the Chinese tech giant Alibaba have raised some red flags with the U.S. national security officials. Concerns centers around data sovereignty, surveillance potentials, and what this means for Apple's long-standing privacy-focused brand image. And so there's a lot here at stake, guys. I mean, quite a bit is at stake. And so, the Trump administration and the U.S. lawmakers are closely scrutinizing this bill that they're trying to put forward under a reported deal between Apple and the Chinese tech giant Alibaba to incorporate Alibaba's AI technology into iPhones sold into China. According to the New York Times, officials are concerned the arrangement could strengthen China's AI capabilities, expand the influence of censored Chinese chatbots, and increase Apple's exposure to Beijing's data and censorship laws. So this is taking on a whole new premise than just what's going on with TikTok. And we'll cover that again sometime, but not today. All right, guys. And number five on the plate of interesting stories, M&S. Yes, M&S Data Breach from the retailer Marks and Spencer has confirmed a data breach stemming from vulnerabilities in a third-party vendor's set of access. So hackers exploited weak links to siphon customer data and disrupt operations, costing the company millions. Now, this event underscores the importance of rigorous third-party cybersecurity and protocols. You can't just do this one time, guys. You have to do this over and over and over again. And you have to realize that you're never, let's say, exempt from this. You have to keep checking all the time. So, M&S Data Breach was linked to the third-party access, which is what they proved. The hackers believed to be from the group Dragon Force that actually breached Marks and Spencer systems back in April by exploiting access through a third-party provider, causing widespread disruption in the company. The cyber attack led to millions in lost sales, reportedly over 40 million pounds per week, and forced M&S to pause online orders for more than 3 weeks and temporarily shut down key IT systems. Some stores experienced empty shelves and customer data, including personal content and other history details, was compromised. While M&S has not commented on the specifics, the company stated the store's availability has improved and systems are gradually returning to normal. I think when you have a company that's been around for so long, like M&S, they want to do everything the old-fashioned way, like maybe your parents, right? They don't want to do things the new way. They want to do everything with, what do we say here? The traditional paper or pen and pencil, right? And they want to write everything down. They don't trust technology. I know that when I automated my mom's business many years ago, back when I was in 8th grade, my dad got interested in computers because that's how he could see the numbers. He could see the profits. He would always look for what we call the in and the out. So in a dry cleaning plant business, you want to know what work is coming in because eventually that work has to go out. And so if you have a lot of work, let's say, on the rack, well, that's inventory, and that's money that eventually has to come into the store. So even if your day was low, but you had a lot of money coming in, then that was something he looked at. He liked the in and the outs to be, pretty close, but sometimes the ins were higher than the outs. He didn't like that 100%, but he knew that money eventually had to culminate coming back to the store. And so here's one that I think is kind of interesting. Number 6. This is one that just kind of blows my mind. Imagine this, guys. There is a red team ops, and they're exposed. And the ever wondered people who test the scrutiny of critical infrastructures like secured bases. Red teams do elite groups that go around and they're paid to break into buildings, back networks, and simulate real-world cyber attacks. The newly revealed documents show how these teams operate in secrecy, define and fix vulnerabilities before real threats exploit them. And so I think that's important. So the team is paid to break into secret bases. As I said, it's a specialized red team, and it's made of former military and intelligence experts. And they're hired by governments and companies to covertly test the security of highly sensitive sites, like military bases or corporate headquarters. Their work involves extensive passive reconnaissance, analyzing human behavior and vulnerabilities, and using stealth tactics to bypass physical security, such as exploiting disgruntled employees or copying security passes. Once inside, they use lockpicking and cyber skills to access secure systems and data, all to identify weaknesses before real attackers can actually exploit them. Now, this intense multi-step process blends psychology, technology, and stealth operations to help clients strengthen their defenses against real threats. I think it's a good idea that they're doing this. And I think, as I said before, I've said that, we have to be vigilant of the security we have because security evolves every so many years. And if you're using yesterday's technology to protect yourself, well, the bad actors are going to be able to get through that caper pretty quickly. All right. So I thought you guys would find that kind of interesting. And number 7 is the tech giants admit change. Yes, the tech leaders like Apple, Google, and Meta are starting to admit that their flagship products may not be future-proof anymore. From declining engagement on Facebook to saturation in the smartphone market, these companies are now exploring what's next. The takeaway, reinvention isn't optional anymore, guys. So I think this is a big thing that a lot of these companies are working on. And Google, Facebook, and iPhone, as I said, may not last forever. Silicon Valley is admitting it. The tech giants like Google, Meta, Facebook, as we know them as their other name, and Apple are openly acknowledging that their core products, Google Search, Facebook social networking, and the iPhones may lose relevance in the near future amid shifting consumer behaviors and emerging technologies like artificial intelligence and smart glasses. Google has seen a decline in search queries on Apple devices, partly due to AI chatbots reducing traditional search usage. Facebook's core activity of adding friends and sharing content is declining, especially among younger users with more engagement shifting toward direct messaging and video content. Apple's iPhone, while still popular, faces challenges as consumers upgrade less frequently, and new wearable tech like Apple's Vision Pro and smart glasses from various companies hint at the future of personal computing. These tech giants are racing to innovate and stay relevant as the digital landscape rapidly evolves. And I think I've said this before, guys. Technology is going to keep evolving and revolving to be something new. It's going to keep morphing. And that's going to happen because of AI. That's going to happen because of new innovations, where people are going, people's beliefs are changing. And this is all going to affect what happens, in our world. But the fact that they're admitting that it might not last forever, I think that is a really interesting point. We always have to understand that technology today, whether it's a smartphone, whether it's our desk IP phone, right? A couple years ago, I should say more than that, maybe 10 years ago, even before that, we had desk phones. In the last 10, 12 years, we've now gone to IP desk phones. And we have apps that can let you make calls and link into your business phone infrastructure. You don't have a phone system anymore. You have a phone cloud network. And really, what do you have? Well, you have basically not just software as a service, you have IaaS, infrastructure as a service. The whole phone infrastructure. Your phone lines are not phone lines, they're ported into SIP, right? Session initiated protocol. And so now when you make calls, it's different. There are no POTS, plain old telephone services. Everything comes in through IP. And although that is a good idea, there are challenges with it, right? Like security, like making sure the call quality is good. I remember using a company, I don't even know if they're still around anymore. This had to be, oh gosh, had to be over, I gotta say, it's gotta be over 20 years or more. And I remember the very first company that I used, I don't even know if they're still in business anymore. I'm just trying to think if they're around. So they were called Packet 8, I believe. And if you're wondering, what happened to Packet 8 voice over IP? Well, they were bought out. They were acquired by 8x8 in 2004. So you're probably wondering, so who is 8x8 IP phones? So 8x8 is basically a business phone service. They're a voice over IP phone alternative. Zoom, and there's Ring, and there's other ones, right? And you probably remember Vonage. The problem with a lot of these companies is people had to understand the concept of not having a phone, but having a virtual phone, right? And then giving you things like, business voice over IP. And I think the biggest problem that happened with a lot of these companies is that we were ready for the technology, but the technology wasn't ready for us. I mean, when you got on a phone call, it was like, oh my gosh, it was terrible. It was like the fact that, you would hear, static. It wouldn't be a clear call. And I think that's a problem. A little warm today. In our office, got a little bit warm. I don't know why, but a little warm today. The temperature got warm outside, but if you see me sweating a little bit, that's why. And the plus being under these lights. I think when we can understand that technology migrates from one thing to another, A lot of companies have shown this to us, like Cisco. So Cisco's a marketing company. They're not a tech company. They acquire and buy other companies. Packet 8 was a very interesting company. I remember the very first time that I learned about them, and it was because I was using a service and I needed to be available, but I didn't want to give out, let's say, my grandmother's number or my home number, but I wanted to be portable so I could go wherever I need to and people could call me. But the thing about Packet 8 was their customer service wasn't great. And they had this box, and you plug this box into your network, and pretty much their web interface did everything for you. I mean, you picked your line, you picked your plan. I mean, now you can have voice over IP services for, let's just say, a lot less money. I mean, you can have for a lot less money. I mean, I think Vonage is doing for like $13.99, and other companies like this Packet 8 company, I should say 8 by 8. But when I look up 8 by 8, they don't seem to show up as a top. They don't seem to show up as a top provider. Zoom Phone is one, Ring Central is another. But I remember the costs of phones back then. I think for unlimited phone service, don't hold me to this exactly, but I think it was like $29.99 plus tax, or maybe it was $24.99 plus tax. And the quality of the call was just not good. I mean, they gave you voicemail, they gave you call ID, they gave you all these great features. But you know what they didn't give you? They didn't give you a high quality phone call. And so, companies that you've seen online, maybe it was, you all remember Skype, which I believe they were shut down on May something. Skype was basically, they did a merger into basically going into Teams. So if you actually go to Skype.com, it doesn't even direct you over to Teams. Okay, it's completely gone. So what happened? What happened to Skype? Well, Microsoft just decided that it wasn't working out. Skype has been shut down and retired by Microsoft as of May 5th. As they're pushing people over to Microsoft Teams, users are being directed to use Microsoft Teams for free, which offers many of the same core features. And so the change impacts both the free and the paid Skype users. And again, they said it's in order to streamline, their offerings and their free consumer communication offerings so that they can more easily adapt to customer needs. And so they did retire it like they said they did. So if you had a number with Skype, you had to port it out. And just explain that concept for a minute. So whether you have a cell phone, a landline at your home, or something else, your phone number, okay, can be ported out. And what we mean by that is that the number can leave that carrier and then be brought to another carrier. Now, you have to be careful, but when you sign up for services, usually your phone number is yours, okay? And they can't take it from you unless they've said in some agreement that it's not yours. Like there's some fax services online that have said it's not yours. And I think that's a big problem for a lot of people, as they don't realize that, they're going to lose their number. Now, what is the process of porting? Let's talk about that for a minute. There's something called an LMPR for porting. So basically, LNPR, line local number portability. And so it's basically an agreement that you have to put through. They have a WNLP, wireless local number portability. So wireless local number portability, so WNLP and LNP allows somebody to change their service provider within the same local area and still keep the same phone number. So you might be asking, how, and this is a great question, how does LNPR work? Well, it's not hard. LNPR for phone portability is just kind of like it's like a tracking system, okay? And so when you fill out the form or do it online and you sign it, it goes over to your current carrier. So this is why if you go to move to a new carrier, you never tell the new carrier that you are leaving. the old carrier that you're leaving, I should say, because what happens is as soon as you do the port out from that company, which is going to happen automatically from your new company, they're going to automatically close your account. But if you go over there and try to ask them to do it, you know what's going to happen? They might, out of spite, just turn off your line and give you hassles. So you just don't want to deal with any of that. And we're talking a lot about the iPhone, guys. I've been talking a lot about it, right? So what if the iPhone prices go up? So the iPhone price hike is believing to be something that will be apparent soon. So Apple may start raising the iPhone prices, not by increasing the base cost, but by making a must-have AI feature exclusive to higher-end models. And this clever strategy encourages upselling while letting Apple say they didn't technically raise prices. Sneaky, but very smart. So do you really need this extra AI service? Probably not. So does that mean they're going to charge you for Siri? That's kind of where I'm thinking they're going. Yeah. So Apple may charge you for Siri. And again, after that, that lawsuit we talked about, that class action, 95 million, they got to do something to cover their tracks because they're paying a lot of money out. Now, of course, they're at fault. I mean, that's definitely a given there. But how is Apple going to quietly raise iPhone prices this fall? So they're going to raise the iPhone prices this fall, partly by saying it has nothing to do with tariffs. They're going to use AI as the means. And to avoid any direct backlash over tariff-related price hikes, they're going to say it has nothing to do with the tariff. Apple might instead tie in increases to, like I said, the new AI features, slimmer designs, or upgraded hardware. They're going to subtly adjust prices through options like less free storage or premium options like the iPhone 17 Air. Although tariffs have temporarily eased due to a recent US-China trade deal, uncertainty remains. And Apple CEO Tim Cook has been balancing this with political diplomacy for a while now, and a push to expand Apple's US manufacturing despite the challenges they're going through. iPhone sales have grown slightly, though consumer upgrade frequency has slowed down, making careful pricing strategies critical for maintaining sales volume. See, I think Apple basically figures out how long is a person going to keep their phone. I mean, Apple tracks everything, right? They track more things than you probably remember. But Apple knows, if you ask them, how long the average person keeps their iPhone, okay? And they have insights into this. They know how long the average person keeps their iPhone. They collect data on device lifespan and usage patterns, allowing them to estimate how long users typically keep their iPhones before upgrading. So Apple tracks a lot of things, various metrics related to the device lifespan, as I said, how you're using your device. Did you sign up for Apple Care or not? What is your device behavior, right? How are you using your device right now? And Apple studies all these things. Why? Because it's big data and it's big money for them. If they know that you keep your iPhone, let's say an average of 2 to 3 years, then they got to figure out how can they get you roped back in to spend more money with them, even if you don't need to. You might say they're going through a very unique type of marketing that's going to say, okay, this is what we need to do, but how do we do it? So I think that's a challenge for, a lot of people, how it's going to work. And so if we understand how it's going to work, then maybe we can be a little smarter and say, you know what? I'm not going to get that new phone yet. Okay? I'm not going to get it. And the reason I'm not going to get it is because my current phone works fine. So then you could ask a question, what is the lifespan of a typical iPhone? And so it's going to vary, all right? But most people will say between 3 to 6 years. iPhones and all mobile devices, they're designed to wear out. People ask, when do you upgrade? Well, generally, if you're trying to do something and it doesn't work, maybe you're out of space. I had a client of mine that I've been telling that he needs to upgrade his phone or he needs to purchase the Apple, storage plan. And so most people say that phones last 2 to 3 years. Should I buy a new phone? Well, that really depends on your current iPhone performance, your battery, your age, and other factors. The best time to buy a new iPhone is in the fall, right after the newest model has dropped. And so I think a lot of people, they get comfortable with their iPhone. I've got my upgrading process down to something I can do with my eyes closed. But a lot of people are not technically savvy. They're not an engineer. They don't know these steps. And so they figure, oh, you know what? I don't want to go through it. It's a hassle. For me, if I had to change my iPhone every day, it wouldn't be a big deal because I back everything up. I move to the new device and it's really simple. And I make sure that I have a great backup before I start. So if anything goes wrong, I can always revert back. All right. So Apple's going to raise the prices. I'm sorry you're not going to like it. And I know I'm not going to like it. But the big question is, when is Apple raising prices? They haven't said exactly when they're raising prices, but I would think that it's going to happen sometime in the next release, which could be around September, October. So we'll have to see. How many of you guys out there, and I have a question for you, watch cable? So I have cable at home, but I don't use cable. I stream all my channels. But I really don't watch TV a lot either. I do a lot of reading. I do shows, listen to music. How about this? A $34.5 billion cable merger with Charter Communications is attempting now to acquire Cox Communications in a massive, I said, $30.5 billion deal. Now, the goal is to strengthen their position against streaming giants and improve their market share. The deal could redefine the whole cable TV landscape and regulators. Hopefully, they're wanting them to approve this, but will they approve it? I mean, I think that's really the whole thing. So Charter Communications, as it has proposed the $34.5 billion merger to acquire Cox, combining two of the largest U.S. cable companies to better compete against streaming services and mobile internet providers amid ongoing industry challenges from cord cutting. I want to see a big company buy Altice or Optimum because their service has been horrible. The deal involves merging Cox's residential cable business into Charter, with Cox Enterprises retaining about 23% ownership in the combined company, which will be renamed Cox Communications after the closing. The merger aims to create cost efficiencies and strengthen the market position, but still requires shareholders and, of course, regulatory approval. The question is, will the regulatory approve this, or will this get, put down on page 9? I don't know. I really don't know. And we're just going to have to see what's going to happen there. And the Polish election hack. Yes, ahead of the national elections, cyber attacks linked to Russian operatives targeting the websites of several political parties in Poland. How about that? These hacks are part of a broader effort to disrupt democratic processes worldwide and highlight the urgent need for stronger electoral cybersecurity. I think that's an important thing to understand. And so Poland's Prime Minister, Donald Tusk, basically revealed that the Russian hackers attacked the websites of his ruling coalition parties, including his Civic Platform Party, just a few days ago before the presidential election. Now, the cyber attacks targeted multiple party sites, and ongoing efforts are underway to address the breaches. Additionally, Polish authorities are, investigating paid political ads on Facebook flagged as potential election interference, which were removed after being reported by Polish Research Institute. And these incidents occur amid a broader context of frequent cyber attacks linked to Russia's, partly due to Poland's support for the Ukraine in its conflict with Russia. And I think, guys, the fact that these bad actors are going after Russia. I mean, they're not just doing the US, they're going everywhere. And so you might be asking a good question, and it's a great question to ask. Why are they hacking Poland? Well, it's because of the party, right? Um, it's to disrupt control and power. And I think they just kind of want to keep them in check. Distribute denial of service attack. The pro-Russian groups like No Name 057 and 16 and Darkstorm are using the DDoS, distributed denial of service attacks, to temporarily disrupt Polish websites and systems. Other methods they're using, like malware, fake updates, and other malware, are being used to infect systems and steal information. Exploiting vulnerabilities in IP cameras. Hackers are targeting internet-connected cameras, especially near border crossings and railway stations, to monitor shipments. Phishing and data theft. These remain significant threats, as well as data leakage from stolen or lost devices, and disinformation, and of course, propaganda, which is always a problem. Poland reported that Russia-linked hackers have attempted to spread fake news through news agencies. Advanced malware. Poland is growing to be a target for advanced malware. And I think it's because Russia wants to keep them in check. Russia wants to know what this country is doing. And they're not far from that. They figure, well, they can, so they're going to. But I think Russia needs to be more vigilant. They need to revamp their security. They need to have a plan. I don't even know if they have a plan, but we'll definitely keep you in the loop about that. And my college, Montclair State University, I'm happy to report on. Yes, Montclair State University's inclusion ramps up. Montclair State University's School of Computing, which I'm happy, glad, and proud to be a part of, is taking meaningful steps right now to foster diversity. That's new programs, that's mentorships, and inclusive curriculum. And they're being introduced to support underrepresented groups in the tech, paving the way for more equitable futures in computing. But Montclair State University's School of Computing, led by Director Liaquat Hossein, is undergoing this major transformation to better serve its diverse student body by enhancing retention, revising the curriculum, and fostering inclusion, especially, as he said, for women, minorities, and first-generation students. By unifying computing programs under one school, Montclair aims to offer innovative, community-focused education and research in the fields like cybersecurity, software engineering, and AI, artificial intelligence. Efforts include extra support for students struggling with foundational courses, hiring and supporting more female faculty, and engaging with local schools and the wider community through projects and town halls addressing technology's social impact on our world. The school targets increasing female students' enrollment to 40% and emphasizes a culture of inclusion and community engagement. So Montclair State University is always staying on the head of everything, at the top of the cusp. And I think what I like about them, not just being a student there, is that they really try to be innovative. They try to bring things to a new level. And there's nothing they don't try. I mean, some of the things they're working on now with their their new supercomputer. I mean, there's so many things they're working on, and they're giving students like myself and others the opportunity to work with things. I've been in the field for many years, but some of the students that I go to school with, a lot younger than me, they haven't been exposed to 1/10 of what I've been exposed to. So I think this is a great thing that Montclair State's doing. So kudos to Montclair State University. Really grateful for all they do for me and for everyone else that attends there. And number 12, guys, the New Jersey Deepfake Law was passed. New Jersey is leading the nation with a new law that criminalizes the use of AI-generated deepfakes meant to deceive or defame people. Yeah, the law aims to curb the misuse of synthetic media and promote ethical AI usage, setting a precedent that other states may soon have to follow, not because they want to, but because they're going to have to. And the legislation against the dangerous deepfakes is advocating responsible AI usage, is what they title it. In April 2025, Jersey City and New Jersey made major strides in responsible AI innovation and regulation, marked by Governor Phil Murphy signing a pioneering bipartisan law criminalizing malicious AI generalized deepfakes with penalties up to 5 years in prison and $30,000 fines, inspired by local activist Francesca Mani. And the fight against non-consensual imagery. Alongside this, the New Jersey has invested 1.5 million in AI education grants to modernize classrooms. Rutgers, Newark launched a new data and AI innovation hub focused on community impact, and AI entered politics with Representative Josh Gottheimer's groundbreaking AI generated campaign ad. And these developments, combined with new legal guidance on AI workplace fairness and expanded AI transit enforcement, underscored Jersey City's leadership role in fostering both cutting edge AI technology and robust digital safety protections. So we will definitely keep you in the loop of what's happening there. All right. So bad actors don't try to use AI to create things that are going to break the law. And Airbnb AI pivots, as the Airbnb is no longer just a place to book a stay. With the launch of the new AI-powered concierge service, the company is evolving into a full-service travel and experience platform. This reinvention could redefine how we plan trips and connect with destinations. I always said, you can't be everything to everyone. And the Airbnb CEO, Brian Chesky, is spreading let's say, a bold transformation of the company from a short-term home rental platform into an all-encompassing app offering a wide range of services like fitness, food, and personal care. It's inspired by his recent innovation with OpenAI and driven by desire to expand beyond its current niche. But I think it's more than that, guys. I think it's the fact that Airbnb is having some challenges, possibly financially, and I think they're just trying to do everything they can to like grapple and hold on to everything. I think that's really the reason, because you don't just suddenly go, selling macaroni if you're in the business of, let's say, building houses or renting houses. Like, they're not related. It's like we're an IT company, right? And the IT company would not suddenly get into the business of selling light bulbs. I mean, if a light bulb needed to be installed in something, yeah, we could get it, but we're not in the business of providing light bulbs. That's not what we do. Or ceiling tiles, right? That has nothing to do with anything we do, right? Of course, we can do different things if the company that we're representing does that. Like our marketing advertising company does video. JMOR wouldn't do video, but our marketing advertising company, Orbital Media, full print production graphic company, does. So you just have to stay within those confines. I think that's important. And our last story that I'm happy to share with you guys tonight, and I'm very happy, knock wood, that Optimum stayed up. I shouldn't talk because we've had some issues with them. Our 14th story, Signal clone breach with Telemessage, a platform styled as a secure alternative to Signal, was hacked in less than 20 minutes. Security researchers uncovered massive flaws that exposed sensitive law enforcement communications, and this incident highlights the pearls of overpromising on privacy without rigorously testing it. I think this is going to become more of an issue for a lot of people. And so Signal knockoff Telemessage hack, as I said, in 20 minutes. Absolutely terrible. The hacker exploited a publicly accessible Java head dump endpoint on Telemessage's archive server, exposing sensitive data like usernames, passwords, and unencrypted chat logs. Shame on them. This flaw, combined with weak password hashing, used MD5 and outdated technology, allowing the breach. Now, Telemessage's claims of the end-to-end encryption were contradicted by the fact that messages were uploaded unencrypted to their servers. Despite these glaring vulnerabilities, the app was deployed within U.S. government circles, including on National Security Advisor's Mike Waltz's phone. So, okay, if you're a national security dude, right? I mean, wouldn't you be a little more conscientious of like what apps you put on your phone? I know I am, even on what I put on my computer. And I think, you've got to set a standard there, buddy. Whether you're a CTO, a chief technology officer, chief information officer, I think you've got to realize what your company's policies are, and you've got to stay top of game, right? If you don't stay top of game, they're going to exploit you. We've all talked about this before. The way hacks happen is some of the big ones now coming through social engineering. And not to give you the whole formula, but they go round and round and round and round, and they find enough information about you that it gets through the doors. It gets people to trust them because they know things. So one thing I'm going to tell you to do is use passwords like that you'll have to verify. Like when somebody calls in, You could have a password or a key phrase on something. A lot of alarm companies do this. They use a phrase like, do you have a message for us? Now, if you're the bad actor, so, I don't have any message. Oh, okay, no problem. I'm sorry. Have a good day. And so when that call comes in and they say, do you have a message for us? And you say no, but then a lot of people are getting smart because they're probably saying, well, gee, that's probably a passphrase. Maybe they should call in and say something. Hi, this is Mary from such and such. Is Joan there? And that could be the phrase, because I think it's too direct to say, do you have a message for us? I mean, in the beginning, it sounded great, but I feel that you can definitely exploit that in many, many ways. So if you're using something like Slack, which we do, and there were a lot of companies like, I think it was Disney and a few others. And so they were complaining and crying back to Slack that their information got compromised. Well, hello, Disney. I mean, you didn't even use two-factor authentication. I mean, like, hello, right? Of course somebody could get in and try to compromise. I mean, you guys should know this. You run billion-dollar parks, right? Do you just leave the doors open to your park? No, right? And now Disney's starting to cover some more information by capturing and we'll talk about that probably in the next show, how this new badge system works that validates you and actually links to your email account. We'll talk about that another time. But I think technology is emerging. The need for more data to be stored, processed, queried, analyzed, and let's say spit back out or regurgitated back out to you, whether that be on screen, whether that be into a file, whether that be in some other form of output device. This is where our world is going, folks. And so data itself, just like I said, technology is not bad, okay? It's how we choose to use it that makes it so. So if you're fearful of technology, you're fearful about something, don't be. It's the people that are fearful about something that are going to get themselves burned because they're afraid to open up the box. They're afraid to put on what they need to put on, right? And I think those are the things that I really want to capture with you guys. Because if we just think about the fact that our life evolves by what we see, by what we hear, by what we touch, by what we taste, if we process that for just one moment and we say, okay, now what do I do with that? Well, I'm fearful. I don't want to do anything. If you're fearful and don't want to do anything, then you're basically stuck. And when we talk about technology, if you're stuck, you know what happens? You definitely do not go forward. You stop. And you might actually go backward. So you could regress. Not always, but you could. So our mindset shapes what and where and how we're going to evolve, right? People every day tell me, AI is a problem. AI is not a problem. There are new caveats appearing with AI, and you've got to adapt to those. You might say, John, well, it took away my job. Yeah, but the things that AI is doing is taking away the things that are wasting your time, all right? And now you can focus on doing things much more effectively. I know that sounds like something that's really crazy, but it's ultimately the truth, guys. It's the truth. I mean, like the fact that this dude, security advisor for the U.S. government, Mike Waltz, the fact that his phone got exploited, that says to me, hey, government, where's your plan? Like, you got to have some way to check this. I mean, shouldn't that app have been checked on another phone before it even got on his phone? Where's your endpoint protection management system? Like, hello. And it was a BYOB, bring your own, BYOD, bring your own device. Then where are their policies? Where are their rules? Or did he suddenly scapegoat them because he's head? And I think that's a big problem. So we talked about a lot here today, guys. We talked about Fortnite and the fact that, they're trying to exploit, I would say a very good cause because Apple is really trying to take advantage of them. And the fact that Microsoft decided to remove or decouple Teams from Office, I get why they did it. They don't want to get hit with some more fines from the European Union. And with the AI ban facing the pushback from the state attorney general's office, these are all very, very important things, right? And what about happening with the Trump admin being worried about Apple Alibaba AI deal for iPhones in China? I'd be worried about that. We're so worried about everything happening with TikTok. Why don't we worry about what's going on in our own backyard first before we start worrying about that? Okay. I think we've got enough concerns in our own backyard. And M&S, I mean, I've been watching the feeds with them and what they've been doing. I mean, they suffered a lot and they're slowly just trying to come back, right? I mean, losing 40 million pounds in sales. That's a lot, guys. And did you know that there was a team that gets paid big money to break into secret bases and that they're ex-military people? That was pretty amazing to me. They're there to exploit human error and physical weakness and to give you a report of how you can fix it or to fix it for you. I think so many times we're trusting in our nature because we feel that there's no need to worry. I mean, after 9/11, I think your level of trust has probably gone way down with a lot of people. I remember being down the shore, and for years, we would always just leave our doors open. We would walk and leave. I remember us taking the boat out many times, and we would always lock the front door, but we would never lock the back doors. Like, what is it? The bad actors won't go to the back door? Like, they don't want to walk around. It's not a big walk. And the thing that was interesting is that we trusted that for a while. Go for a walk around the bend. Oh, we don't need to lock the door. We can just leave it open. But then suddenly the 9/11 happened. Now we're like, you know what? We can't really trust our community anymore. So I think trust starts out high, right? But trust gets degraded anywhere from 1%, 5%, or even 100% like that. And you're like, well, gee, what do I do? Right? What happens? Let's just take this for example. Let's say you have a good friend, a really good friend. You've known them for years, right? And now let's say that friend suddenly betrays you. What do? Do you say, hey, gee, bud, like, what are you doing? What are you throwing me in the bus? Like, what happened? What are you doing to me? Now, of course, there could be a mistake, but generally not. And now you know what happens? You suddenly don't want to trust that person anymore. They're not even your friend anymore. They're an acquaintance. They're like somebody so removed from you, you don't even want to have a conversation with. You don't even want to be in their presence. It's sad how I watch all different people change and evolve because of one reason. Because they want to become better, even if they have to knock other people down. I'm not talking about competition, folks. Competition is completely legal. I'm talking about doing something unethical, like taking something from somebody or, maybe lying to somebody, or when somebody has trust and you take that secret and you share it, right? What happens when you share something very personal and then that story reaches other people in your circle? You've probably known this happening in grammar school or high school. And when that happened, you were devastated. I remember the first time it happened to me, I'm like, dude, what are you doing? It's like, well, we're all kind of friends. What are you doing? Like, I mean, that was something I told you in confidence. And when I did that, he was like, he kind of realized he messed up. Now, this person took about 6 months to gain my trust back again, but it still was never where it was because I still had that inkling that he could slip up. Why? Because the other friend says, oh, we're all friends. Of course, John wouldn't really mind if we keep it all between us. But the whole point of sharing something and saying it's confidential means you're not going to share it with somebody else. And now it's like, you don't want to even tell that person anything. You want to keep things to very generic terms and conversations like the weather, right? The food you're eating. You don't want to involve anything that could be taken directly or indirectly that could potentially destroy your reputation. Now, do people destroy your reputation on purpose? I don't believe they do. I think they just blab, 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 blab. And they like to talk because they feel that now they've got some information. I mean, when in high school, I wasn't a gossiper, but some of my friends were, and they gossip. And I never forget the one time I was on a three-way call, didn't know I was on a three-way call, and my conversation that I was sharing went to another person, and no one ever told me about that. And from that moment on, I made sure that every call I got on was not busy before I started talking. So it could have been something simple like I would dial the number and then it would check it up. It might have been a beep and then just let it go. I knew there was nobody on the call then. If I got a fast busy, I knew that there was another party on that call. And I know this sounds strange, guys, but people betray other people because they think they're going to get ahead. I talked about the story many times. I always told you guys, regardless of what licenses we buy them legally, right? I've had so many vendors, and I've even had large corporations like, hey, John, what if I slip you something? Can you make that Novell? Can you make that Microsoft license price disappear? Disappear? It's a couple $1,000s. Yeah, well, I'll give you $100 for yourself. What are you asking me to do? The fact that you would ask me to do that is something that is so wrong. And that alone has said to me, you know what? I don't trust you. I don't want to trust you. Anyone that's going to try to mislead me, manipulate me, and now somebody that I have to be on my guard for to make sure you're not going to play games with me. I mean, come on, guys. Right? And you might say, John, well, I'm going to win. Well, you're going to win at the cost of damaging your friendship, your relationships that you've had for years. And I remember saying that to one of my friends. So I guess my friendship didn't mean that much to you. Oh, no, of course it did, John. Well, obviously it didn't. If that's the way you're acting, it obviously didn't. Well, I wasn't thinking. Well, maybe you should think next time. Maybe you should think about what you can do and what you shouldn't be doing. And I remember saying that. The person felt very bad. But I still had this distrust with him for a while. I remember him asking me to do things, and I would do them, but I would be very leery about asking him to do things because I couldn't trust. He could trust me, but I didn't have full trust in him for almost a year, and that destroyed our whole sophomore year of friendship. That was like a good friendship. We got back to acquaintanceship within 6 months or 3 months, but it was different. And when we graduated, did we ever get back to 100%? No. Probably we got to 90% because I always knew there could be a potential that something could go wrong. Ladies and gentlemen, I am John C. Morley, serial entrepreneur. It's always a privilege and pleasure to bring you all these great insights about tech, about improving your life. Do check out BelieveMeAchieve.com for more of my amazing, inspiring creations. If you're watching this on Labor Day weekend, I hope you have a great, happy, healthy, and a safe one. I'll catch you real soon, everyone.